Hello everyone, this is Puka, and welcome to another game I played on the Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, and this is going to be for Bad Deck Monday. And in this game, I'm actually going up against someone I've known for a very long time. Screen in there is truly random. If there are any old school players watching, this would be the old Pojo writer, Random. His name is John, and this should be a cool opportunity to play against a longtime member of the Pokemon community who, he's just been around forever. I've known him for a long time, and this should be interesting because I am running an Excadrill deck. So we got Excadrill and Excadrill EX, much like the Chandelure EX deck I used last week. This was kind of following in the footsteps of that gimmick where I run the EX version of the evolution and the actual evolution. This is not a very good gimmick, but there's only two EXs that are actually evolutions, so I figured I might as well take advantage of this opportunity before X and Y come out and we get Blastoise and Venusaur, and then we can do all sorts of fun stuff with Mega Blastoise and Mega Venusaur and God knows what. But anyway, back to this game. If you don't know what Excadrill EX does for 2 colorless, it does 40 damage, and then you discard the top card of your deck, and if it's a basic energy, I think it's basic energy, you can attach it to one of your Pokemon. So we run it with Lunatone, which has Premonition. Look at the top 2 and you can rearrange them. So it allows you to look to see if you'll get a fighting energy. And if you don't, well, maybe you can just discard a card you don't really want on top of the deck. It's not a very good combo, but it's all we got. Pokedex is gone. Now, we seem to be going against a Darkrai deck, which in theory seems good, because Darkrai is weak to fighting. But Sableye is not weak to fighting. Sableye, in fact, is a pain in the behind because of hammer cards, like that Enhance Hammer that just discarded my double colorless energy. Lovely. So, hammers are some of my least favorite cards in the entire game, just because I really dislike the whole energy discarding mechanic. It's very annoying. Enhanced Hammer I am semi-okay with since it only targets special energy, but Crushing Hammer, I think that card can go die in a fire somewhere. But anyway, it's yet to be seen whether or not he plays Crushing Hammer. A lot of these Darkrai Garbodor decks, which I can see it's Darkrai Garbodor because he has the Trubbish down there, unless it's some kind of next level fake out. A lot of Darkrai Garbodor decks have stopped running Crushing Hammer, just run Enhanced Hammer, since the Crushing Hammer gets a little flippy, not too reliable sometimes, but we'll see whether or not he actually plays Crushing Hammer, and if he does, I will shake my fist angrily and there's Crushing Hammer, heads, goodbye fighting energy, and you can't see me, but I am definitely shaking my fist at the screen. So this is going to make this a much more complicated matchup. I was hoping I could, get some energy on the bench, power up an Excadrill, maybe power up that big bad Tracheon for a Retaliate. When someone gets knocked out, I can just come out and retaliate the Darkrai. But Crushing Hammer really prevents that whole thing. Stops you from building up energy because every turn my opponent can just junk hunt for 2 Crushing Hammer and play 2, and odds are you'll get heads on one of them most of the time. And, I don't get energy. And without energy, you can't attack. That's usually how it goes in Pokemon. So let's see. I'm going to Premonition here. See what we can get. Looks like a Heavy Ball and a Silver Bangle. Now, I only play like 2 switching cards in this deck. I built this deck, I'll be honest, in like 5 minutes. I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it, just, hey, Excadrill, Excadrill. Sweet, and we'll throw in a Lunatone, and a Terrakion, and a Bouffalant. That was really all the thought I put into this deck. So I only run 1 switch and 1 escape rope. So I know my opponent has Crushing Hammer, and I think Enhanced Hammer as well. So, I decided to actually not attach an energy there, and we're going to wait until I can actually use the energy. Right? I'm going to wait until I like draw a Skyla to get a switch. Then I can switch into Excadrill, slap down the double colorless, and then go for the dig out. Try to get another energy in play and do some damage, and we'll go from there. So that's going to be the plan with this situation. Sometimes you just have to be patient against Crushing Hammer. Sometimes it's not an option. I've actually been fortunate because John here has not been able to find a Hypnotoxic Laser, apparently. That is something that puts pressure on very quickly when they're also junk hunting for Crushing Hammer. That's what kind of gives you the damage as well as the disruption. And that's what makes Sableye plus Hammers so darn powerful. But he has not been able to find the laser, so I've had a little bit of time to be patient here. Of course, I could have just like gambled and put down the energy and hope he flipped a couple tails, but I'm just going to take a different approach here. But we do see a Night Spear for 90 damage. That is going to be 10 short of actually knocking out Mr. Bouffalant. So he will survive for now, but probably not for very long. And I'm going to Ultra Ball, get rid of the Enhanced Hammer because I don't really want to draw that anymore, and the Heavy Ball since I was just going to search for an Excadrill anyway. And yeah, we'll get an Excadrill into play. It's got the nice attack Dig Uppercut for 2 fighting, 50 damage, and you get a card back from your discard pile. It can be any card. It's actually a pretty okay attack. I don't mind it. With a Silver Bangle, you can then do 160 to a Darkrai, and then if you go Bangle, Verbank Laser, you can Dig Uppercut and knock out a Darkrai in 1 hit. Whoa. I doubt that'll actually happen, but alright, there's another Crushing Hammer, and thus why I hate Crushing Hammer. Looks like we don't have Fighting Energy in play any longer. And there's a Night Spear. So things are not looking good. Once again, I am left with no energy in play, but we do have the Excadrill EX. We do have this double colorless energy, which we can use here to dig out, and then cross my fingers that I get a fighting energy on top of the deck. Garbodor has actually shut off Lunatone, so I can't even Premonition, and darn it, the top card was another Excadrill, which I have to discard. Dig Out is an incredibly horrible attack. Definitely fits Bad Deck Monday. The fact that you have to discard that card, regardless of what it is, just makes it so much worse. On the bright side, we do have a Rock Guard on a good old Excadrill here. So if he decides to Night Spear, he will take 60 damage from the Rock Guard. So we're going to rock on here and hope that my opponent does not play Tool Scrapper. Now, I don't know if the damage will actually be relevant. I decided not to play a Hypnotoxic Laser there because the damage didn't seem to make any sense if I don't have Verbank in play. I'm only doing 10 a turn. Even if he takes 60, that won't be a knockout. He would be left with like 20 coming back to me, and I wouldn't even be able to capitalize on that, so didn't seem worth it to play the laser. I only have 3 in the deck, so I need to use them very wisely. We can Dig Uppercut for them later, at least that's the idea. I don't know if we'll actually be able to, since we have no energy in play thanks to Crushing Hammer, but now this might be a decent opportunity to use the laser, since Darkrai does have 40 HP left. So we can use the other Excadrill's attack Tunnel Strike, which does 30 damage to a benched Pokemon. Now, it's actually pretty annoying because it only does damage to a benched Pokemon. I really wish it could do damage to an active Pokemon. Right? That would make it decent against Darkrai. If I slam down a Silver Bangle and Tunnel Strike the active, that would be awesome. I could do 120 damage. That actually is decent. You can really put a hurting on a Darkrai for 1 energy. But you can only hit bench Pokemon with Tunnel Strike, which just makes this deck laughably even worse. But we're still going to see if we can find a way to get away out of this hole. Dig a way out, perhaps. Seems appropriate. But nope, the dirt has been buried even further. As there is a max potion, removing 150 damage. Alright, so we are back to square one, and 2 Crushing Hammer go back in my opponent's hand. And to make matters even worse, I have drawn a hand with Juniper as my only supporter and 3 fighting energy. Now this is bad because obviously my energy are heading to the discard pile. Crushing Hammer has discarded, like 3 of them so far? 2 or 3 of them. Got a couple DC in the discard pile. So if I were to Juniper away 2 of them, Hammers could just prevent me from attacking the rest of the game, which would be very, very, very bad. I would lose. So I cannot even really play a Juniper here. Now I do see a Tails in the Hammer, and there's a Heads. Now I attach to the active Excadrill EX to kind of say, hey, I'm going to threaten this dig out. So you got 2 options. You can keep pushing your luck with this Crushing Hammer nonsense, or you can Night Spear me. In which case, you are taking 60 from the Rock Guard. Which, I mean, that's not best case scenario for me, giving up 2 prizes in exchange for 60 damage and then falling behind 3 prizes, but it's better than getting hammered out of the game, which probably would have happened if I had attached to the bench, because I really have no threat to knock out Sableye in that case. But looks like we got what we wanted. Darkrai comes up and Night Spears the Excadrill EX. Rock Guard does its job, does some decent damage. But now I'm down 3 prizes. I got a lot of damage on board. I have no energy in play. I have a lot of energy in the discard pile. Alright, there's not too much good about this situation. I do get a Chorus for 9 off of my opponent's end, though. That is a positive. Alright, looking on the bright side here. Got some decent cards to work with still. We got some tricks up our sleeve. Got an energy on that Excadrill on the bench. Alright, I like it. And, we'll just see if we can make something of this. But so far, surely this has not been pretty for our Excadrills. Whether they are the EX variety or the Stage 1 variety with Dig Uppercut. At least Lunatone has survived. He's just chilling out there. It's a crescent moon out there tonight. Looks like my opponent doesn't even want to mess with the moon. I wouldn't either. He can Rock Throw for a big 30 damage. So you don't want to mess with Lunatone. I don't know. That's all I got for that. I'm still trying to figure out a strategy. Like, this is very bad. Basically, whatever I do, I am kind of screwed, to put it lightly. See an Ultra Ball for a Garbodor. He'll probably Juniper that hand away, and yep, he doesn't want to draw another Garbodor since he already has one in play, and it's not exactly doing much. It is shutting off Lunatone, which is pretty annoying. I actually like looking at my top 2 cards. Knowing what you're going to top deck is actually pretty useful information in terms of planning for the next turn. And another Crushing Hammer. I was actually going to have, like, a possible play if that were Tails and he took the knockout. I could have put a Silver Bangle on Excadrill and used Dig Uppercut and got a knockout in this Darkrai and perhaps started the comeback trail. But it is not meant to be, apparently. So now I gotta decide what do I want to do here. My opponent's going to be at 2 prizes, so I have to choose who I want to promote very carefully. If I send out Terrakion, it could easily be Night Spirit for a knockout, and then my opponent would go down to 1 prize, and that's very easy for my opponent to take. You know, Excadrill is 90 HP, Lunatone has 90 HP left. Excadrill is 90 left, already 30 damage on it. So I'm going to promote this Excadrill EX and try to take a hit here, and I guess try to switch next turn. I'm going to have to end here because my opponent has too many cards. I don't feel comfortable with that large hand size. Trying to debate if I want to put down the Silver Bangle now or just kind of drop it and say surprise and Dig Uppercut, but we're going to say the surprise factor, not really worth it. I'd rather just play down the Silver Bangle here. And we're going to have to pass a turn. And again, you can see Tunnel Strike. If that could hit the active, that would be sweet right now. I would just knock out Darkrai for 1 fighting. That would be awesome. But I can't. It only hits the bench. Because it's terrible. But anyway. Still haven't seen a Hypnotoxic Laser from his deck. I don't know if he just doesn't play them or what the deal is. Oh, there's one. Never mind. I should stop mentioning things. They happen when I say them, apparently. Now this is a very bad thing, because now this Excadrill EX will have 30 HP remaining. That means a Night Spear to the bench collects a final 2 prizes and knocks it out. Now, first of all, I need to draw a switch. If I don't draw a switch, I lose the game. Pretty cut and dry here. If I don't switch that Excadrill out of the active spot, I immediately lose to poison damage, thanks to the Verbank City Gym, and, a Night Spear would probably do it too. So, keeping this in mind, I could end my opponent and me and outdraw 6. But first of all, my opponent didn't really play any cards besides the laser, and second of all, I need to draw a switch, so I want to draw more cards, number 1, and not shuffle non-switch cards back into the deck. So, those are 2 things. I'm going to go ahead and Tool Scrapper just for the heck of it so I can get Lunatone back. And alright. Good things, we draw a switch. Something is going right here. And I have gotten 2 energy in play. What is going on? This is the first time all game, I think, I've gotten 2 different energy cards in play at once. On the same Pokemon. Wow. Incredible. Now, I used Premonition there. I screwed up the order on those cards. I wanted Pokemon Catcher, I think. Because I am going to Dig Uppercut for an N, since all of those are in the discard pile. My opponent's probably going to have to Junk Hunt, so I'm going to take an N. I royally screwed that up. I was supposed to take Catcher on top of the deck there, so that I could Catcher the Darkrai next turn, and N, and give myself a chance to win. Whoopsies. Alright, now we're going to have to see what happens here. Right. Okay. So, I assume my opponent will Junk Hunt this turn. See if he has any other cards to play. 3 cards. A lot of resources are gone. Only 1 laser, surprisingly. I'm starting to wonder how many my opponent plays and how many are prized. This is kind of silly at this point. To see this much of your deck and then only play a laser after you've taken like 4 prizes. That is ridiculous. But I assume my opponent is just trying to figure out what to junk hunt for here, and then I'll probably just N. Probably laser the Sableye and N, and then dig uppercut, take the knockout. Now I do play a max potion in the deck, so the idea here is that I don't lose this turn. That is step one. And then idea two. Oop, there's a dowsing machine. Idea two is max potion the Excadrill EX and don't let my opponent win with a Night Spear. So I may Skyla next turn anyway. It may have been why I put the Skyla on top of the deck instead of Catcher, because I needed a Skyla for the max potion to not lose to a Night Spear. We see a dark on the Darkrai, a dark patch here, and the game is over. Excadrill goes down to a Night Spear at this point. That's not good. My opponent's playing Ultra Ball, so he may be thinning for a Bicycle, or perhaps just playing cards out in case of an N, which he knows I have in my hand. So, smart play. Discarding cards you probably don't need anymore. It's a good idea. Prevents N from hurting you so much. But, this is looking bad, man, what do we do here? I'm excited that we've made a game of this. This was a miserable game for, the first, 10 turns. So we're going to Energy Search, and, whoops. Max Potion is prized. Bum, bum, bum. That's not good. So now if I get Night Speared, I lose the game. This is not good. Alright, so there's a Darkrai sitting back there with 2 energy. My opponent took a Dark Patch with his Junk Hunt, discarded 2 worthless cards. So you know what? We're just going for it. Skyla for the 1 golden Pokemon catcher. Flip a coin if heads potentially stay alive in the game, and boom, heads. Alright, so we still got a chance at this game somehow. Catcher out the Darkrai, and with that laser, we're pulling off the mighty combo, and then I'm going to Premonition here. Energy Switch or Escape Rope. Escape Rope's probably the better card to take here in case of a laser, I would think. Yeah, probably. Okay, so we'll take that and dig uppercut. Can you dig that? For 160 damage, knocking out a fresh Darkrai. That is pretty sweet. Gotta say, for non-EX 2 fighting, we knock out a fresh Darkrai and get a card back. Sweet. So we get back another Hypnotoxic Laser. A card that is totally fair and balanced. Not cheap at all. Not extremely powerful and stupid and never should have been printed. Oh god, Pokemon Catcher. Whew. Alright. So there is Tails on the Pokemon Catcher. I assume I would have lost the game if that was heads, since a whole mess of things definitely could have done 30 damage to that Excadrill EX. Like a Dark Claw on a Sableye. A Hypnotoxic Laser. That's probably it at this point. A Darkrai powered up in general just Night Spears me and I lose. But a Dark Claw or a Laser are probably very likely at this junction in the game. But, hey, wait, we got Max Potion off the prize. Ooh. Hey, now if I survive this turn, call me crazy, we actually have a chance to win now? Huh. I don't know how we're tied in prizes. This makes no sense to me. I mean, I am very close to losing But that max potion is going to wipe off the damage if I survive the turn. And I'll actually probably be at a very large advantage at this point. I am very confused. Sometimes Pokemon just does not make any sense to me. Alright, so there's a junk hunt for the dowsing machine and the catcher. He's really going after that Excadrill. But, surprise, there's a max potion. Goodbye, 150 damage. Sweet. Excadrill lives on. Don't mess with the X. Excadrill EX. Anyway, we're going to attach a fighting to that Excadrill EX because I still got more tricks up my sleeve. We're going to laser that Sableye here and then Ultra Ball, discarding a Drillbur for sure, and then probably Skyla. This is for N insurance in case I get hit by an N. And we're going to end my opponent down to 2 cards there. And we can then Premonition. Grab either one of those, as those are fine. But we're going to attach that fighting to the Excadrill EX. I have an energy switch left, and I have a double colorless energy left. So that means I can, next turn, break ground, which does 120 damage, which is going to knock out anything he has. So unless I get hit by an N-1, I actually win the game next turn. Of course, there could be something like a Crushing Hammer as well, but you know, if there's like a Darkrai knockout, we can retaliate with tracking. We have actual options now once the energy are in play. Oh man, we're down to 1 prize with Excadrill. Get the laser back for what seems like the 20th time. There's another catcher. And jeez, alright. For as many heads as he flipped in the beginning with Crushing Hammer, he definitely has flipped many tails on the catchers at the end of the game. And the catcher giveth and the catcher taketh away. Definitely. And we do see a Dark Patch. Uh-oh. Darkrai could get powered up, but remember, even if that happens, I have the Juniper. We can draw the rest of my cards. We can pull off this break ground and win the game. So yeah, there's break ground, 120 damage, just 10 to my bench. That is so bad. But it's enough to win here. Somehow the power of Excadrill has gotten us, and my opponent actually just junk hunts, probably forgot that I got a laser back again. And there it is. Can you dig it? Dig uppercut with Excadrill. Shout out to Drew Holton. This was his boy for a long time. Excadrill getting the victory. Woo! And the game actually does not even want to acknowledge the fact that Excadrill just attacked for a win. There we go. Dig uppercut for 50. The laser finishes off the Sableye. And what a comeback on Bad Deck Monday. That was an epic, almost 30-minute game. We had no energy in play for a long time. We were getting dominated by Darkrai and Sableye. But you can't hold Excadrill down, apparently. He's going to dig his way out of a hole. And I will leave you with that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will have some more for you soon. I am Puka from the Top Cut, and I will see you guys next time.